we're talking a little bit about crazy wisdom in chapter 8, the last one. Um, they didn't go deep into what uh, Yeshe, I think is the Tibetan, what that is. They kind of spoke about miracles a little bit, but crazy wisdom can be unconditioned, unplanned, uncontrived wisdom that we can think of parents sometimes, maybe friends and things like that, or even teachers, where uh, things may rub us the wrong way, even, or surprise us. But these teachings will come at you in very dynamic, asymmetrical ways. And I think most of you understand crazy wisdom. Now, it is being used as an excuse for abuse as well. And in that case, I don't endorse it. I would say compassion and skillful means should trump crazy wisdom. And so, if a teacher is thinking about smacking somebody in the head uh, to help them wake up, that may be their kind of thing. But I wouldn't agree with that. For example, um, hitting somebody would be totally inappropriate, in my opinion. Now, I understand 50, 100 years ago, different culture, different stuff going on, and yeah, so we have some differences. And we also went through the kind of the description of the highest practitioners of the highest caliber, and how for them, when you introduce the nature of mind, whether they're resting in stillness or within movement, there's still the great evenness, the great Dzogchen, abiding as pure presence, self-abiding, without displacement, without that dukkha, disharmony. And so they will still have self-liberation, though. There was some clues in the last chapter that showed us that there still will be self-liberation. Um, Khenpo Dongyal said, reappearing. And the practitioner of that caliber will not grab onto those habits as they're happening. For example, I used, somebody calls me a poopy head. Maybe 5 years ago or a year ago, even, I got very, very upset about that. I had to cry myself to sleep about that because I was so upset. This time around, if I'm a high capability practitioner, then somebody calls me a poopy head and I let that come and go. I might have a little spike of, oh, and then even let, and it's gone. Kind of like Ronnie was saying, where it feels a lot lighter. I think we can measure our moods and our emotions and our patterns in terms of density. This contrast, being able to see when you're stuck in thought, when you're stuck in an emotion, just that difference in weight can help us dramatically, because we're using the somatic system, our body, as a measuring stick, as an indicator, as a meter, as a spectrometer. Every vibration is being measured. As soon as your body changes, your mind changes, you see it. And it doesn't mean you're going to release that contraction. You may be in that contraction for a little while. You may be witnessing while you're in it, and you're more in it than you're in the witnessing. But it can only last so long. And the fact is, if you have any witnessing at all, that's miraculous. You're able to see yourself in a pattern. Very, very rare. Typically, we would be in the pattern, completely blinded to anything else. And that's a dangerous place. Anything can take you by surprise when you're super fixated and focused on something. So that's my best talking about the highest. Now let's see what the next chapter is going into of this Aro Yeshe Jungne, 9 ways of pointing out the nature of mind, um, translated allegedly by Sarah Harding and probably some people editing and things like that with Khenpo Dongyal. and Khenpo or Khenchen Palden Sherab, his brother, who passed. And of course, they mentioned Patrul Rinpoche in here too, because he was the rescuer in the 1900s, rescued this Yeshe Jungne text that was in danger of being corrupted, mingled in with termas and things like that, and even lost. The same thing as Kalu Rinpoche did with the Nguma lineage, by the way. So it says how practitioners of all levels should practice the RO teachings. Go ahead, you can start scrolling. Let's get on a natural rhythm together here. So when we put the RO teachings into practice, we begin by generating bodhicitta, the thought of love and compassion for all sentient beings, and then cultivate the four boundless thoughts. Now, does anybody in this gathering today know what our bodhicitta is? We do bodhicitta in these gatherings, but we do it a little bit different. Anybody remember? Oh, yes. Zana? Is it Zana? Hi.
Hi.
Yeshe will post the link there for you, okay?
Thank you.
The YouTube link. Thank you. It's nice having you here. Welcome to the group, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
So you're asking what bodhicitta is?
Yeah, you got it or what?
Well, it's understood differently in different yanas, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
And so it can be compassion, it can be the semen and menstrual blood and the life, the bindu in us. What else? But could you please expand on what the Dzogchen understanding of it is?
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, those are definitely other usages of bodhicitta. I was hoping somebody in here could tell us what our method in this group is of bodhicitta. Let's see if that happens. Come on, don't be shy. Anybody,
On the spot.
Empty cognizance. Okay. Doing compassion.
Wisdom.
Well, in our 10-minute sit, we're doing bodhicitta. So, yeah, go ahead.
Awareness of oneness.
Oh, yeah. All beings are here in our awareness right now. All of you. Any being that has ever lived or ever will live can never leave your mind. Maybe there are beings that you don't know about, but even those are somehow still within this mind. And so if we abide here in silence, we take refuge into awareness, right? Within that oneness, which is the fourth Dzogchen Samaya, and we smile to ourselves a little bit or whatever we need to do to remember our natural compassion, because all of us have this tremendous warmth that's being blocked up a lot of times. It's a natural, like if you remember loving somebody a lot, like your family member or an animal friend or something like that, just bring up that feeling, that intense love, and then take away the object of that love and just rest in the love itself. That's bodhicitta. You see some of these great masters, they love you so much when they look at you, when they talk to you. It's unconditional love. There's nothing you could say or do to make them not love you. So that's a kind of ultimate bodhicitta. And like Zana was saying, there's relative bodhicitta too, right? So in that case, you want to generate bodhicitta with mantras like that Semkin Dundu Chunchup Semkin Du mantra and things like that. And you'll have a kind of application bodhicitta where you generate loving kindness. And application bodhicitta here, the method is remember somebody you love so that your whole body fills with love. And then take away any thoughts and rest in that love. And you'll notice more and more your natural compassion, like a Buddha, very, very powerful compassion will start to breathe. It's allowed to breathe today, and we suppress it. But let me address the comment too. The Citta is in the Bodhi. And Ronnie, I struggle a bit with Metta Bhavana, but Tonglen has hits differently, and I love it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is a whole new technique where we really try to utilize the nature of mind awareness with our compassion, and so we're also dealing with experience here. We're reminding ourselves not just of awareness of our spacious mind that's inherent to us, that's our birthless right, but also our inherent compassion. We're reminding ourselves of that. Mm-hmm. And so, anybody remember the four thoughts? I think Tonglen is a form of bodhicitta, a practice of bodhicitta. So in Sutrayana, they use these four boundless thoughts a lot. They're going to be mentioned here, so I might as well read it. I think, wait, maybe not. Anybody remember the four boundless thoughts?
Is that, oh, the boundless thoughts. Not the four thoughts that turn the mind to Dharma, the suffering, the path of suffering, not those.
Nope,
Right?
that's
Love, equanimity, joy.
Yes.
Compassion. Very
good. I'll take that. And so let me get this straight. The new person's like outdoing you all right now. You guys got to be on the trigger, okay? Practice your Jeopardy button pressing. All right, very good. Sana, thank you. She's really getting into it. She got a great Dharma education. So it says next we meditate on impermanence, reflecting on the fleeting nature as well as the preciousness of the world and ourselves. And that is exactly what Zana also just mentioned. The four thoughts that turn the mind to Dharma. Mm-hmm. And those are generally found in the beginning of Nundro, right? The preliminary practices they call Nundro. And those are given to people who aren't ready to see the nature of mind just yet. So it's akin to cleaning the mirror so you can notice the reflexivity of it. With all this dust overlaying the mirror, it doesn't even show its ability to reflect, and you cannot see the reflections in a clear way. So many hundreds of thousands of mantras are prescribed, full-length prostrations in the case of physical ability are prescribed, lots of stuff like that. You'll be going through many cycles of sadhanas before you get introduced to the nature of mind in a conservative lineage. So here it says, we are beautiful beings and are intimately connected to these sublime teachings. We have the opportunity right here and now to open our minds to encompass and embody the infinite multiverse. I change it from universe to multiverse as a disclaimer. It just seems more expansive. There are many universes according to modern science. So we have the opportunity to help and inspire others to do the same. This is a cause for joy, appreciation, devotion, and celebration. With the desire to benefit all beings firmly in our hearts, with the realization that now is the time to put the precious teachings into practice, and with the courage and commitment to persevere in this, there is no doubt that we will accomplish something meaningful for ourselves and others. Yeah, so still talking about bodhicitta there. It's a very beautiful aspiration and fruition. Then, when it is time to leave this world, we will do so with joy and fulfillment. With these thoughts, feel the presence of Guru Padmasambhava, Buddha Shakyamuni, and all Dzogchen lineage masters vividly and strongly. Pray for their blessings. that we can fulfill their intentions as well as our own. These are the foundation practices. Next, introduce or reintroduce the nature of your mind. Ask the question, where is my mind? When you ask this question, you do not receive an answer. All the great masters say that no answer is the answer, that the speechless state is enlightenment, that speechless state is enlightenment. So I like how he said reintroduce the mind. That may take place sometimes. You may have gotten an introduction from a very powerful master, and because you weren't around the Sangha, because you weren't immersing into the teachings, it may have dimmed down your recognition, so getting reintroduced will strengthen that initial recognition of the nature of mind. Now, I should also say that it's going around, a lot of Dharma places, that whoever points you to the nature of the mind is your teacher. And in a way, that's true. You'll have I think, an infinite gratitude to that person. But that doesn't mean you can't have other teachers and things like that. Now, typically, if you've had a solid recognition and a solid familiarization, that'll be your teacher. It'll probably work for you. But some people have a recognition during text readings. Like they'll be reading a book by themselves or watching a video. Does that mean YouTube's now their teacher? No. So we have to really broaden that. We can't say just whoever helped me with my nature of mind is my teacher. That may not strictly be so all the time. Now, in a traditional setting, and with many of you, I can see that it's true. We have developed that relationship where it's kind of a student-teacher. I would say a spiritual friendship, though, is more accurate. I've become a spiritual friend to many of you, and you're trusting me for that, and I trust you as sincere practitioners. Remember, it has to go both ways. You can't just adopt a teacher and say, that's my teacher. They have to adopt you as a student as well. So that doesn't have to be explicit. That can be implicit because they gave you pointing out, or they're just there for you like a friend. It should be like that. Getting to know your teacher like a friend. Nowadays, you can't even get to know your teacher at all in many places. So that's why it's important to keep your mind versatile. In my opinion, in this new phase of the Dharma, this kind of high-tech phase of the Dharma, we can safely use awareness as our main guru, and that way we stay out of trouble. And then you have spiritual friends along the way who love you unconditionally. That's the important part. They will never really see you as tainted, even if you did and said the cruddiest stuff to them. They will not. Their view will not change. And that's how real family is, isn't it? Like a real good parent is like that. Okay. So it's saying look into your mind. So right now, where's the mind that's hearing me speaking, for example? Use awareness to look at that. Where's the mind that's hearing me? And you can't really find anything. It opens up into this spacious consciousness. That's what they're talking about. And that's enlightenment. Now, we may immediately cloud that again with patterning, but that glimpse is very significant. So it says, now that you have arrived at the answerless state, which is enlightenment itself, simply relax. Now, I'm just going to remind you all that if you got to pointing out and you had some kind of aha moment, or even if you slowly started to sink into it, that is your enlightened mind you're dealing with. We're taking the fruit as the path here. So it's going to be a little bit different. And it says, this is known as the emptiness of mind. So the Dharmakaya, the mind is emptiness, so rest in its emptiness. While you are experiencing the emptiness of mind, do not create or harbor conceptions about the mind being empty. Here's a do not, and do nots. You know how I feel about do nots. Do not use do not. people are going to harbor concepts about emptiness. It just happens. Those are considered cognitive obscurations in Dzogchen. They're considered the last ones to peel off of you because you're harboring some kind of idea about what this is, or some kind of concept about what the view is. And that can be a hindrance, actually, from pure oneness into pure non-duality in a sense. So, into pure abiding. And so we have some idea, but I'll tell you this: it's the cognitive pattern itself is rooted in you. It's you feeling like I'm holding emptiness. It's not so much a vivid idea or a coarse idea, narrative, or anything. It's more of a very subtle, oh, look at me, I'm abiding in Buddhahood, kind of thing. A very subtle, I must be enlightened at this point, or something like that. Very difficult to explain those subtle hiccups of cognition, but they are pattern. So, yeah, while experiencing emptiness of mind, do not. This is, I would say, when concepts of mind being empty arise, just let them be within awareness. That's really the technique. So it says that is a fabrication. Do not fabricate. Okay, everybody, just don't fabricate. Now we got it. See, everybody, that was your problem the whole time. You were fabricating. Now this is do not fabricate. We got it. We're done. So they pulled another do not on me. I have a weakness for these. Fabrications are happening. They're happening on very subtle levels. You can't even. Fabrications is the second of the 12 links of dependent origination. You can't just not fabricate. And I'm sorry to harp on this a little bit, but really, that's so much spirituality and dharma out there right now where they're just telling you, do not be sad. Just do not be prideful. Don't be sad. Be happy. And then you snap your fingers. Oh, that's what it was. I was thinking I was supposed to be sad this whole time. You're saying do not be sad. Now I'm cleared up. Okay. It is a gaslighting. Yes, indeed. Thank you. And we're going to call that out because it do not work. So simply, I think it's a translation thing, though. The Tibetan Lama themselves, I think they're talking about letting it be. So simply be in that moment. When thoughts come, do not reject or follow them. See? Well, when thoughts come, you're going to reject and follow them in a lot of cases. But it's saying to just allow them to be within awareness is what it's trying to say. And this has caused a lot of confusion out there. That's why I'm critiquing it a little bit. So thoughts appear and disappear on their own. Nothing should be done about them. See? That's the key point. Use mindfulness as support for your practice. Maintain the natural state in this way for 10, 15, or 20 minutes. Oh, this is wonderful because a lot of you have been coming early to the sessions and utilizing that 10-minute chunk. And even before, I've noticed that some are coming in before the official start time. So I think that's great. You're just getting used to contentment without sensual reliance. And I think that's really, really wonderful. But 10 minutes is good enough. And even if you're having a problem being still for 10 minutes, try 5. But here is a prescription, 10, 15, 20 minutes. That's what you're being prescribed. And then throughout your day, it'll become more and more prominent for you. At the beginning, when you get to pointing out instruction, up and we allow that to begin to shine on us like the sun coming up during the day. So it says, while you are practicing emptiness meditation, occasionally bring up joy, appreciation, and devotion, as well as love and compassion for a few moments. Then return to emptiness. This will bring more vitality to your emptiness meditation. Yeah, and you can totally do that, everybody. Bringing up joy, tell a good dad joke, something like that. Get you smiling. Smile to yourself. So at the end of your session, once again, generate bodhicitta, wishing good things for all sentient beings. Remember, at the present time, the true nature is not realized by everyone. Pray that everyone will attain this wisdom, that they will understand the true nature exactly as it is, so that violence and suffering, as well as their causes, will be uprooted. The good wishes that should conclude every practice session are known as dedication prayers. Anybody know how we do dedication prayers here in the group? Silence. The same. Yeah, good job, Dundrup. Abiding in mind is our refuge, our bodhicitta, our main practice, and our dedication. We're giving that a try. It's new. Occasionally I remind, occasionally I do the mantras for dedication, but to me this is very, very powerful, and it's worked out great for us. So it says, during the post-meditation period, apply the 3 hermitage qualities of body, speech, and mind. This is a brief summary of how to practice the teachings of the masters Yeshe, Jungne, and Patrul Rinpoche for people of all levels. Do you have any questions? Well, yeah. Go ahead, Ronnie. So wait a minute. Yeshe, we'll go to the Q&A next time, okay? Next session. But yes, Ronnie.
That chapter has introduced me to there's the 4 thoughts that turn the mind to Dharma. Now it's for the 4 boundless thoughts. How long should that be taking? And I know it's not going to be different for every person, but is it like, watching the opening credits to a cartoon, boom, that's me, I'm in, or is it a kind of repeating something, word for word in your head? How does that sort of, or could we just sit there in awareness and just kind of trust and know that it's happening?
Yeah, we're also doing the 4 thoughts that turn the mind to Dharma here. We're doing them by abiding in empty cognizance. So we're not deliberately expressing them as you would do in Nundro. Now, remember, these are different than the 4 boundless thoughts. They're both included in that introduction. 4 boundless thoughts have to do with compassion, the metabhavanas, or the mahaviharas, what did I call it again? Mahaviharas, right? Oh yeah, I got it. Brahmaviharas. Jeez, Mahaviharas are temples. My Pali's not that sharp, but that's okay. So typically the way you would start, if you're doing a Nundro retreat, for example, every day you would open your Nundro book, read the 4, contemplate each one. So meditation on impermanence. You would sit for about 10 minutes or so meditating on how the body is impermanent. And then, or the precious human rebirth too, meditating on that. Or karma, right? How karma is, cause and effect is there. Excuse me 1 second. Dorje has a leaky head. Poor guy, still leaking out. So you would do those like that, contemplate each one of those, and then start your refuge and bodhicitta 100,000 accumulation. Excuse me 1 second. Poor dude. He got bit in his head and the thing just leaks and leaks. Okay. So any other questions on that stuff? Comments? All good? And Nundro is very, very powerful if you ever get into it and want to do it. It would be a huge compliment to Dzogchen, but in my opinion, everyday life and how fast everything's moving right now is probably the best. If you can get to where you're incorporating mantras, even visualizing a better world, visualizing helps. These things can always complement Dzogchen, but I present it very, very stripped down, free of everything. That way you can plug it in nicely into whatever else you need to. If you have pure view, then you could just plug that into rituals, mantras, sitting meditation, loving kindness meditation, anything. And every text, every scripture is written about awareness. The essence is going to be the view. Okay, any final thoughts then before we close out today? Any final thoughts that turn the mind to Dharma? All right, very good. I think we'll do 3. Oh, go ahead, Thomas. Yes. We're going to, by the way, yes, you do 3 white Tara mantras at the conclusion. Go ahead, Thomas.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a summer job at a church graveyard, and the guy that's in charge was on vacation, and there was a funeral. So I dug the grave, and while I was digging the grave, I started thinking about my own mortality, and I started having these thoughts which I would play out in my mind. And it was like thoughts about my own dying and stuff like that. And then I became aware that I was playing out these thoughts. And the group kind of flashed for less than a second, and I didn't play out the thoughts anymore. I let them stay in my awareness, and sooner than later they were gone. And there was the sadness about my own deaths in the future, but there wasn't the suffering part anymore. If that makes sense.
Yeah, certainly.
And so I really like this group. I think you're a great teacher.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's a wonderful sharing, and that loosens up our attachment to this one life, and it actually zooms us out so we can see that, wait a minute, intuitively you'll start to notice there are other lives. I've had another life before. I will have another life again, and the mind itself doesn't die. So impermanence practice, when you're going to sleep and everything's dark and you just imagine losing everything in your life, all your friends, everything, your whole body. And then there's this mind left over, this luminous mind that's still there. That's why they say meditation in graveyards. Padampa Sanghi, Machik Lobdran, the church practitioners would recommend always meditation in the cemeteries, right? That's one of the favorite places of yogis. And Thomas, you were very brave for doing that. Okay, that's wonderful. And then, we'll conclude with 3 white Tara mantras just for the benefit of all these heart mentions that were mentioned today. And then we want to continue to wish for the end of this oppression and these wars that are happening in our collective, and the end to the confusion and immaturity of the minds of people in power. We really wish them swift wisdom, swift compassion. Om Dare Tu Dare Ture Mama Yo Punye Jana Putin Guru Soha. Om Dare Tu Dare Ture Mama Yo Punye Jana Putin Guru Soha. Om Dare Tu Dare Ture Mama Yo Punye Jana Guru Soha. Now we'll do the dedication now. Dedicating her merit to all beings. Ewa Magendo Do Gonlano. Ewa Magendo Do Gonlano. Ewa Magendo Do Gonlano. Deep bow to you, my fellow yogis. Have a beautiful day.